going to look at some options for the unhappy path. As discussed in the previous video, in a happy path, the sample is moving from step 1 to step 2 in a linear fashion. When something is wrong with the sample, you have additional options in Clarity LIMS. In this video, we are going to review how to remove a sample from the workflow and store for later use. All of the options that we're going to be discussing will be found on the next step screen. First, remove from workflow. This option will stop the sample at that point in time. For example, if you dropped a plate of samples and there was no saving them, you would want to remove them from the workflow. You will no longer see the sample on the lab view screen, but it will be accessible via the Projects and Samples screen. After selecting Remove from Workflow and clicking Finish Step, you will get a pop-up to ask if you're sure you would like to remove the sample. We can then go to the Projects and Samples screen, find the project we were working with, and see that sample 4 has been removed from the workflow. The second option is Store for later use. This is an option that will only be found on the next step screen if the step has been configured to be a variable for derived sample generation, meaning that you have 2 outputs to 1 input. If we select Store for later use on the next step screen, and then click Finish Step, one of the replicates will no longer be in the protocol. To get the sample back in the protocol, we would have to search for the sample, click the Resume Workflow button, click to confirm, and now we can see that it is in the queue for repair ends to continue on the next step of the protocol. These are just 2 of the options you have for the unhappy path, but will make the system more realistic to how you are processing samples in the wet lab.